listeners, thank you so much for tuning in on us again today. As you know, for those of you who watch us on a regular basis, we appear every Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Wednesday evenings at 10, and Saturdays at 5 p.m. This is the 91st show in our series of Communicating Today. And for those of you who watch us regularly, you know that we've had on ex-governors and attorneys and doctors and lawyers, consultants, engineers, all kinds of interesting guests, people from Walt Disney World. We've had folks on from the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, and all kinds of entertainment, because our purpose here, ladies and gentlemen, on Communicating Today is to entertain you and also to provide you with information. I think you're going to find our show this evening, as you could tell by our opening number, should be very interesting and very exciting, because we have a group with us today, and if I can pronounce this name, you'll have to give me A for effort. It's called the Thrir Venstri Foetr group. They are a historical dance group devoted to the study, performance, and teaching of medieval and Renaissance dance. And we have with us, and by the way, that translates, ladies and gentlemen, those three words I just gave you have a meaning, a specific meaning, and it means simply three left feet. And from what I've seen so far, I don't see three left feet out there at all. I think I see a tremendous dance group with a very fine musical accompanying orchestra right behind them. And we have with us, standing right alongside of me here, I'd like to introduce Lauren Hyde, who calls herself Kaylin, and she is the dance mistress of this wonderful organization, ladies and gentlemen. And Kaylin, thank you so much for coming on our program.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us.
And bringing on this wonderful group called the Thrir Venstri Foetr. Did I pronounce that right?
Exactly. That is very close. It's actually in the language of Old Norse, which is a language very many people don't study anymore.
Is that right? Yeah, so the Old Norse, did you say?
Old Norse.
Yeah, that sounds like Norway, from the
Scandinavian
countries?
Exactly.
Because I know when you mention the medieval, that sort of normally brings me to England, Old England, the British Empire, and that sort of thing, but there's a little bit of Norse kind of mixed in with it somewhat?
Our focus is on the English dances, but we have dances from various eras and various countries back then, including the Isle of Man, Scotland, and whatever we can find that is of the appropriate period.
Just kind of a conglomeration of all kinds of interesting music from the Middle Ages, from the Renaissance period, the period of rebirth, right?
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want to steal the thunder of this wonderful organization, these great musicians and these wonderful dancers behind us here. So, Kaylin, why don't you go ahead, and I'll let you take over at this point and turn the show over to you, and you introduce the next few numbers, and then you and I will get back together again in a few minutes, and we'll talk a little bit more about this wonderful group, okay?
Okay, fine.
Take it away, Kaylin.
Okay. Well, we're going to do now a dance that's a little bit different. The first one was done in the round. The next thing we're going to do for you is called Black Nag. Now, this is very typical of a lot of dances in the medieval and Renaissance period, where it's done with three couples in a line. Good job. Thank you. next dance we're going to do for you is called Grimstock. A version of the tune for this dance was actually composed and published by a German composer back in 1612, actually, that far back. He called it Farm Girls Dance. Like the dance you just saw, Black Nag, Grimstock is also done with 3 couples. However, this one is a slightly slower and more stately dance. The next dance we're going to do for you is a little bit different. It's a dance called Newcastle. And this dance is actually done with 4 couples in a square. Some of the movements in this dance were actually precursors of what eventually became square dancing. It's believed that Newcastle was named after William, the Duke of Newcastle. The next dance that we're going to be doing for you is called Chestnut. Not too much is known about this dance, and that's true of a lot of the dances that from the medieval and Renaissance period. However, this dance is done in a group of 3 couples in a line, and again, you'll see some of the same movements that you've seen before. A lot of these had various verses and choruses. This one is called Chestnut.
at Communicating Today. I'm John Munsell again, your host. And we're looking at a very interesting group here that's been performing for us so far today. And if I can get this name straight again, I think I got it right the first time when I said they are the Thrir Venstri Foetr organization. They are a historical dance troupe devoted to the study, performance, and teaching of medieval and Renaissance dance. And if you translate those three words I just mentioned to you, and I'm not going to dare repeat them, folks, but they stand for three left feet. And so far from what I've seen here, ladies and gentlemen, I see anything but three left feet, that's for sure. Now, we have as our dance mistress, standing right alongside me here, we have Lauren Hyde, who was with us before a few moments ago, who likes to refer to herself as Kaylin, which is the medieval Renaissance. Is that right, Kaylin? Is that what they call you for the medieval and Renaissance terminology? Kaylin, is that come back from that time of history?
Yes, actually, I got the inspiration for the name from reading the Anglo-Saxon Chronicles, which were written from year 0 on until about the year 1100.
Oh.
And it's a way for me to get away from my normal life and into the Renaissance period by having a name that they refer to me as.
Wonderful. I also know that in addition to having a dance mistress for this organization, we also have a dance master who's not here at the moment, but his name is Fred Blonder, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yes. Fred is very important in our group because he's the one who does a lot of the research into the dances and the music, and he puts them together and he teaches us the steps.
Can we get Fred to come out here real quick and take a bow? Come on, Fred, since you're such an important part of it. Take a little bow right. This is Fred Blonder, ladies and gentlemen, the dance master, standing right alongside of our dance mistress. Thank you, Fred. Okay, you can stand here for a second if you'd like to. Stay with us. We have, by the way, you've been doing this for about 20 years now. Is that right?
Not personally. The group itself has been around, as near as we can tell, almost 20 years. We don't, at this point in time, have any original members still in the group.
I see.
Most of us have been around from anywhere from 2 to 4 years.
Okay. I was going to say we were going to introduce some of the members of the group here, and we certainly can't forget our gentleman, Glenn Arthur, who is our musical master right here, who takes care of this wonderful medieval Renaissance music for our dance group. And just mention briefly, Lauren, I think that we have the National School, Cathedral School, where you've appeared just recently, as a matter of fact. And we have the British Embassy, where you appeared back in April of this year.
Right.
And you've also performed at Hastings Medieval Fair and Feast last year. And, just so many more organizations that are too numerous to mention. And you have one that's upcoming very soon now, in the next few months, which is going to be at the
Renaissance Festival, the Maryland Renaissance Festival out in Crownsville is a major Renaissance festival. It runs for 8 weekends, and we're very lucky that they appreciate our dancing and our music, and we perform there every year.
Wonderful. And you have one other big appearance coming up at the Army and Navy Club?
In downtown D.C.,
Downtown D.C., and this is going to be sometime in the very near future. Is that right? Okay. Well, I don't want to hold this wonderful performance up anymore, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go back to our wonderful group. And Kaylin, if you'd like to take over, and Fred, we'll let you folks do your thing. Go right ahead.
Okay. The next dance that we're going to be doing for you is a dance called Prince William. This is another dance that is done with 3 couples. This one, we believe, was named after William, who was the infant son of the Prince of Wales. things you may have noticed is that Prince William, like a lot of the dances, progresses, which means that each couple in their turn serves as couple one. This gives the dancers opportunities to do the various positions, but it also means you have to know them all. The next dance is a dance that's quite different. It's called Roughy Tufty. Roughy Tufty is done with only 4 people in 2 couples. When you have a lot of room, you can probably set up as many sets as you want. But for today, we're only going to have 1 set for Roughy Tufty. Next one we're going to do for you is one that's very fun for us. It's called whirligig, and it lives up to its name in that we whirl around a lot. It took us a while to learn this one because unlike a lot of the other medieval and Renaissance dances, it doesn't have a pattern, a simple pattern that repeats itself. This one has a lot of different movements, and it took us a while to learn it. But we have a lot of fun doing it. We hope you have a lot of fun watching it. This is called whirligig.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting the sign from our director over here that it's time to start wrapping up our show. In In the background, you can hear this wonderful organization called Thrir Venstri Foetr, the medieval dance and Renaissance troupe that has been playing for us this evening on Communicating Today. I'm John Munsell, your host, and we've been very fortunate to have this wonderful group with us today. Lauren Hyde, better known as Kalen, and Fred Blonder, and their musical director, who is Glenn Arthur, sitting right over here on the right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching our program, and don't forget to tune us in 3 times every week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And keep on communicating for success. John Munsell, thanks for watching. Take it away, folks. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our program entitled Communicating Today. I'm John Munsell, your host. Thank you for tuning in on Communicating Today. Again, as you know, for those of you who watch us on a regular basis, we come on 3 times every week, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And you can consult your local channel listings for the exact time that we appear on Channel 10 right here in Fairfax County. We've had some very interesting guests on our program, ladies and gentlemen, over recent months, as you know, for those of you who watch us on a regular basis. And our purpose, of course, as always, is to entertain you and to provide you with worthwhile information. We are the communications station and program. Now, we have a very interesting program we think for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen, which happens to be our 91st show since we first came on back 3.5 years ago right here on Channel 10. The name of our group tonight, and you heard them in the opening number that we had on our show, is called the Thrir Venstri Foetr. And I know I mispronounced that probably because this is some medieval Renaissance period language, which is kind of a blend of Nordic and Old English, if you will, back from the Shakespearean era. They are a historical dance troupe devoted to the study, performance, and teaching of medieval and Renaissance dance. And if you translate those 3 words, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, they stand for 3 left feet. Now, the dance mistress of this particular organization happens to be a very nice lady by the name of Lauren Hyde, who's coming out to say hello to me right now.
Hello.
Lauren, so nice to see you. Welcome to our program.
Thank you.
And that's her real name, but she goes by the name of Kalen, C-A-E-L-Y-N. And as I said before, she is the dance mistress of this wonderful organization.
She's also assisted very ably by a gentleman by the name of Fred Blonder, who will bring out a few minutes. In fact, here's Fred right here. Come on out, Fred, for a second. Take a bow. Good. And their musical director on my right, Glenn Arthur, who's also bowing. Everybody's in a bowing mood here today, it looks like, folks. Kaylin, how long has this organization been in existence, by the way?
Well, the dance troupe itself has been around for almost 20 years. It was started by people who had an interest in the medieval and Renaissance periods. They went around and they started looking for information on dances and music from that period. And they started learning these dances, and it slowly evolved into a full-fledged group. Nobody is still in the group from the original people, but we still have a lot of people who are interested in learning, teaching the dances from the medieval and Renaissance period.
And I know that you appear very frequently at many different locations around the Northern Virginia area, such as at fairs, at schools, at libraries, and private functions throughout the entire year. And in a few minutes when we get back together again, Kaylin, we're going to talk a little bit about some of those different places where you have appeared and maybe a couple of places where you will be appearing sometime in the near future. But without further ado, let's get to the music and the dance. So I'm going to turn it over to Kaylin, ladies and gentlemen. She's going to introduce the next couple of numbers for you. Take it away, folks. Thank you.
Okay, the first dance that we'd like to do for you is a dance called Maltese. There is a very interesting history behind this dance. It is said that when the knights were on crusade, they saw this dance performed. They thought it was such a wonderful dance that they learned it and they brought it back and they taught it to their ladies. And the ladies said, sure, we'll dance this if you dance this with us. So here we have the dance brought back from the East, Maltese. that dance was called Maltese, and as you can see at the end there, it turns into a bit of a race between the dancers and the musicians, and sometimes we're never sure who actually wins. The next dance we're going to do for you is called Whirligig. This dance is very similar to some other dances in that it has verses and choruses. It also does what we call progress, which means that every couple has their turn as being couple number one. The difference is that Whirligig has a lot of movements that you don't see in other dances. So it's a fun one for us to dance, and hopefully for you to watch. The next dance which we are going to do for you is called Jenny Pluck Pears. Now, Jenny back then was a common name for a sweetheart, and pears or pear trees were often associated with romance. So this is a dance called Jenny Pluck Pears. It is done with 3 couples. It is done in a circle. So, 3 couples for Jenny Pluck Pears.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. We're back again for a slight intermission here about halfway through our program. Communicating Today is the name of our show, of course, and I'm John Munsell, your host. We've been listening to a very interesting organization here that's behind me and over to my right and to my left and all around me here called the Thrir Venstri Foetr. I'm getting closer every time, folks. These are a historical dance troupe devoted to the study, performance, and teaching of medieval and Renaissance dance. And we've already met our dance mistress, who's coming back to see us again, whose name is Lauren Hyde, who likes to be known as Kaylin. That kind of fits right in with that medieval Renaissance theme that this fine organization represents. Welcome back again, Kaylin.
Thank you.
And we did talk about how long you folks have been in existence, and
Right.
You've had many folks who have come and gone in the organization, which has persisted over 20-some years.
Yes.
Where are some of the places are that you folks have appeared in recently?
Well, we've danced quite a bit this year. We've been very active. Recently, we danced at the British Embassy. They had an afternoon tea, and we were one of their entertainment groups. That was a lot of fun. We also dance every year at the National Cathedral School down in D.C. They have a 6th grade class, and every year we go back and we dance at their medieval festival.
Oh, wonderful. And I know that you've got a couple of interesting engagements coming up sometime in the very near future. You might want to tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, one of the things we're going to be doing in just about a week and a half, actually, we're going to be dancing down in D.C. at the Army and Navy Club, the Officers Club down there. And then a little bit later in the summer, we're going to be dancing at the the Maryland Renaissance Festival. And that's held out in Crownsville every year for about 8 weekends. And it's a fairly big festival, and we're very lucky and happy to be able to participate there every fall.
Well, that's wonderful. We're so happy to have you folks with us on our program, Communicating Today, and I just can't wait to find out what the rest of the program is going to look like. So I'm going to turn it back into your hands again, Kaylin,
Okay.
and let you introduce the next few numbers for us, and I'll be back to see you in a little while.
Okay.
Have fun.
Fine.
See you.
One of the things that we have trouble is finding the dances and the music from that period because, of course, they didn't do a lot of writing in the Renaissance period. However, a gentleman by the name of John Playford in the 1600s put down a lot of dances as he remembered them. The dance we're going to be doing now is called Sellinger's Round. This is one that he recreated and published in that period. And there's some speculation that what he did with this dance is he took the 3 verses that you see in a lot of the medieval and Renaissance dances and added another verse, which he actually stuck in the 2nd verse spot, where we all dance forward and we all dance back. So we're going to do the dance Sellinger's Round as composed by John Playford. next dance we're going to do for you is actually a little bit earlier period. A lot of what we've been doing has been more Renaissance. The one we're going to do for you now is really more medieval period. It's called Horses' Brawl. Back then, dancing was a very important way to socialize and meet people of the other gender. And as you'll see in this dance, you get to dance with everybody on the other side. It is done in a line with as many couples as can be formed. So why don't we have our dancers come out in a line for Horses' Brawl.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching a very interesting program that we've had on for you tonight on Communicating Today. We have been featuring the Thrir Venstri Foetr. I think I finally got it right, ladies and gentlemen. A wonderful historic dance troupe. I have my dance mistress standing right alongside of me here, Lauren Hyde, who likes to be known as Kaylin. And we introduced earlier Fred Blonder, who's our dance master, and we won't bring him out again because he was here at the beginning of the program. And our musical director, Glenn Arthur, is standing right over here to my right. And I just want to thank this wonderful organization for coming on our program tonight called Communicating Today. Thank you very much, Kaylin. It's been a pleasure having you.
We've had fun.
And ladies and gentlemen, you just keep on communicating for success. And we're going to close out our show tonight. Kaylin's going to introduce our final closing number. Kaylin, and we'll just go out with that last song. And it is, Kaylin, what? The final number?
It's called Hole in the Wall.
Hole in the Wall.
Yes. It's unlike the one you just saw, which was Horses' Brawl and very simple. This one is a much more courtly dance. Hole in the Wall.